What is up, Starseeds? I'm Sydalexandria, and today I am going to be talking about Arcturus. I love Arcturus so much. I'm pretty sure this is actually the first star that I connected to when I was a teenager and I was going outside late at night, looking up at the stars, and I was just trying to feel which ones I felt a connection to. And I looked up, not knowing which stars were which. I knew what Orion looked like, but besides that, I really didn't know. So I looked up and there was this real bright star, couldn't tell what it was, and I go back inside in my bedroom, lay down flat on my bed, just try to connect with it on a more intuitive meditation level, really tried to get a vibe for it. It felt like this big, bright star, and I felt all of these people, this huge community of people who were just very genuine, very, I don't want to say like traditional because that sounds, I don't know, political or something, but it wasn't. But that just kind of like these old school, good, old soul kind of feeling people, if that makes sense. And I don't like to use the term old soul. I'll probably talk about in an upcoming YouTube video on how like souls are all the same age and just kind of the breakdown of how I view that and why I view that and just kind of my whole take on that. But anyways, these people do feel like, they just are very wise and know this star very well. Like they're very deeply connected to it. They kept saying like, this is our bright star, our bright shining star. So it felt like this one massive big star. Like sure, there's got to be other smaller stars sort of nearby, but this is their bright shining star. This is like their sun, okay? But it's this other star far away that I'm connecting to, and it feels very like reddish orange looking. And then I tried to tap into the beings there, and they feel not superhuman looking, like 2 arms, 2 legs, a head, humanoid shape, but their skin was different, more of a stereotypical alien kind of look to them. Sort of similar to the Syrians, which this was before I had really connected with the Syrians. Anyways, they have kind of this bluish, greenish, purplish kind of tint to them. It's not as fixed blue as the Syrians are. Like this is slightly different, the Arcturians. I don't have a name for this star yet. I'm just kind of connecting to our bright, big, shining star, this like bright, big, reddish orange star. It's like super old, super wise. And the beings there are just very old school, old soul, caring, wise people who have, like I said, this kind of stereotypical alien look to them. They're just really caring. Like they genuinely upkeep their planet around this star. They take care of their homes. They have families, like they have big families. They have lots of kids. They work hard. Nobody is lazy there. They're all good, hard workers, very genuine people. They're all very happy. Like it's a very, very happy place. There's like a system. They have these kind of, routines and things they do, but they have these big families and all of these kids who are very kind of self-assured naturally. The kids are also very, very intelligent, very hard workers, all amazing kids. Nobody acts out because that's just who they are. They're just good, kind people, even when they're like babies and toddlers. And these homes, they're like dwellings, feels like a better word for it, and I don't know why, because I'm not quite sure how I feel about the word dwelling, but like that's kind of what they feel like. Little dome kind of huts. But it's not huts like undeveloped countries on Earth. It's huts like simple high-tech huts, if that makes sense. I don't know. But yeah, that is pretty much what I saw the first time that I really tapped into a star. I do that intuitively, meditatively, and then the next night I go back out and I get this app on my phone and I see what star it was that I was connecting to the night before. And it's Arcturus, and I was like, oh, okay, that's a cool name. I can rock with that. That feels like our bright, big, shining star. So I went back in and I just kind of tapped into the name Arcturus, putting a name to that feeling, and I was like, yeah, this is it. And so then I go on YouTube and Google and see what people are saying about Arcturus, and sure enough, there's these people who are like, oh yeah, it's got this like silvery-ish vibe to it. There's these kind of like high-tech people, these stereotypical looking aliens-ish, but they have this like uniquely kind of colored and textured materialed skin. I don't know. There's these tall ones and small ones, but they have the big eyes, the small mouth, small nose, stereotypical alien shape, bald. There's some people who are saying that they have this like greenish, bluish, purplish tint to their skin. It's kind of like a Easter eggish type paint, like, to them. I don't know how else to describe that color, but that's them on more of a physical level. They have this higher vibrational level where they are blue light beings. At the time, I wasn't aware of that. I was just kind of seeing this lower vibrational, more physical version of them. But now I know that Arcturus is super old star, and Arcturians are like the masters of our galaxy, meaning that they know the Milky Way the best. From what I can fathom, they've been in the Milky Way the longest. They know our galaxy well. That star and their civilization have evolved from being this like kind of small, less populated star system. Everybody knew everybody, till they got more popular, and the Milky Way as a whole got more popular and more popular. So then Arcturus had more people incarnating around it. Now the people who are incarnated there, like, they don't know everybody there. There's so many people, so many souls now. So it's just kind of amazing to view the galactic history of that, the Akashic records of that, if you want to call it that, because now there's all of these terms for it. There's the term Arcturus that I didn't know before. There's the term galactic history and Akashic records that I didn't know before when I was 16. Also, I had another experience. I was just kind of laying in bed seeing what was going to come through. These little like Arcturian kids came to me. I don't know if it was like a version of hybrid program kids, like part human, part ET kids, but I don't really think the Arcturians are involved with that. So I feel like it was maybe just like a past life version of me's kids that were like running up to me, calling me mommy. There was a lot of them. There was like, I don't know, like 5, 6 of them, maybe more. It was weird because they all felt kind of like the same age. They felt like quintuplets or something, but they were all so smart, like so intelligent, so kind, so curious, so well behaved. They're curious but well behaved at the same time because like they knew their limits. They knew these morals. Like, they have such amazing morals in Arcturus, and they are just naturally so intelligent. Now I feel like Arcturians, they're very involved in like preventing and reversing pollution in certain atmospheres and climates. They're also just very good at healing, and I believe that the blue light being versions of Arcturians, them in this like higher dimensional kind of form, these less dense bodies, more so light bodies, they astral travel. Arcturians are masters at astral traveling. I feel like back in the day, they really didn't do that because there wasn't much of a reason to, but now, like, that is their thing. So they are under Mount Shasta. They are in these sacred spots around Earth. I don't exactly know how, but I know they are there because when I felt myself under Mount Shasta, astrally, or whatever you want to call it, there were Arcturian masters there as well. There were Pleiadian beings, there were blue light beings, which I felt like were Arcturians, there were hybrid children, and there were unconscious humans, and I was there consciously, which they were impressed by, but also they were kind of like making fun of me in their kind of higher vibe way. But that's how I interpreted it. Kind of felt like I was a drunk girl at a bar or something. But they were also impressed that I was there consciously as well. So anyways, that's our bright shining star Arcturus. And when I make my oracle decks, I'm going to have a card for Arcturus, and it is going to say our bright shining star, because that is like the main thing that came through. The first real piece of information that I channeled or whatever, I picked up on intuitively from the energy field of everything. If you want to call out the Akashic records, cool. But that is like the first star that I really tapped into. So I think that's super cool. I didn't have any experiences during my qhht session that I felt like was of Arcturus. Earlier today, I made a video on my qhht experience with the Pleiades and with Sirius. I've made a video on like the 2 main stargates, Arcturus and Antares, and kind of comparing those two. Arcturus is the one that is like Milky Way, woot woot woot, been here for a long time, super wise. Antares is the one that feels a bit newer and has a connection to Andromeda Galaxy as well. Very different energies, similar mission in some aspects. I feel like that's a whole big thing about Arcturus that we didn't even talk about in this video, was like the Stargate aspect of it. But if you're curious as to like what that means, I would go check that video out where I explain it more in depth. If you guys are interested in getting a reading with me where I tell you what past lives I believe you have had, where they were, what the vibe was, what like your job or life mission was, just kind of soul themes in general, because a lot of people have past lives where the theme of it or the mission of it is similar in lots of different lives in all of these different places. Just kind of natural talents you have, how the astrology probably backs that up. Or if you're interested in a qhht session, because I do those as well, where I just kind of relax you enough for you to possibly be able to see scenes from past lives or future lives or parallel lives or scenes from this life, or at least just be able to answer questions from your higher self that you have prepared beforehand that you want me to ask you once you're relaxed enough. Thank you guys for watching. If you haven't tried this already, go outside, look up at the sky, see what stars you feel connected to. Go inside, meditate on that, and then figure out what star it is, and then research it and see what other people have to say as well. See if those things line up. That is how I started believing in extraterrestrials, because I got my own undeniable proof on it. Peace out.